Joining us is the man of the hour, as we've been talking about him throughout this entire program, the host and content creator of the burgeoning Jomboy Media. The man who, if I'm not mistaken, Bill Hader name-checked when he was on this program just a few weeks ago. Jomboy back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Jomboy?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, Bill actually called this morning because he was enjoying the video. He wanted to call and tell me that he liked it a lot.
Well, your video you're referring to is what we were talking about as well, like the 15-minute opus. This is that you put out breaking down the Mariners and the Angels brawl. I called it a work of art that should be put in Cooperstown. This is kind of like your Inagata Davida, to kind of date myself with a rock reference here. So how long did that take you to put together that video?
Around 15 hours if you don't count capturing the footage, which it was a long brawl, so you can't capture. I can't capture it in faster time. So if it's an hour long, then that means it's going to take 2 hours to get the home and the away. But I think I've narrowed it down to it's about an hour per minute. So that was I stayed home, canceled all my plans, and worked on that from 8 a.m. until like 6 p.m. when it got posted.
Well,
and then some from the night before prepping.
Well, I mean, your breakdown of it, if Major League Baseball has anybody like you in their front office to decide on penalties and things of the nature, discipline, there's no question based on what you put out there that Phil Nevin sent his opener out there to throw at Seattle Mariners. There's just no question about it, right, Jomboy?
It seems very much like that's the case. And, I was talking about this. I think it comes off pretty bad. Phil's been very nice to us, and he was with the Yankees for a while, so we've chatted with him, but I don't think it looks great. I think if they were actually slighted, like really wrong, like when CC Sabathia threw at the Rays because they threw at Austin Romine's head, maybe we are sitting here like, well, that's a move that's cool in defense, but I don't think they were really wrong. So it just kind of looks bad.
Well, I mean, in the moment, I think it kind of crystallizes everything, not just that you lip read every syllable, with the exception of one line from Phil Nevin. You read it without a doubt. This is what he was saying. But you captured Jesse Winker apparently being met in the mosh pit by Andrew Wantz, the guy who threw it at his hip. And it looks like Wantz told him, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry, but I had to do it. Because you had Winker basically saying, you had to do it? Like he said that to his face. I couldn't believe that when I was watching your video, Jomboy.
I know. These pitchers get put in tough spots because Phil Hughes did a podcast where he was told he had to throw at a guy, so he did. And I know there was a case. I did a breakdown last year where, I heard through some back channels that the pitcher really didn't want to, and that's why he missed him. And sometimes that's why they miss the first time, is because, all right, I'll brush him back and not hit him. And then they go to the dugout and then they get told, hey, no, you need to hit him. You can't just miss him. So the body language of that pitcher looked very apologetic and in the wrong. And then that's what it looked like Winker was saying to him, like, you had to? Why? And I don't know. It's a really weird part of the sport.
The weird part of the sport, I think, Jomboy, is that baseball allows the people from the bullpen to join the fray, to run 300 feet to come on in. Like, to me, that's adding 20 more, at least, bodies to this melee that's going on. And, there was a view, somebody from one of those luxury dugout suites that are below, ground level in a way, right behind home plate. This was a serious mix-up that we had on the field that night, You have people on the ground getting, trampled on, like inadvertently can be really injured. And the bullpen thing is wild. I mean, it's a spectacle in and of itself. It does nothing. It's not really anything but entertainment. But they could stop that easily. They could also stop if you leave the dugout. Then you get a harsher penalty
But I guess that would lead to more unfair fights if it's just one batter versus nine
guys.
players.
And I felt for the umps, man. The umps couldn't do anything. I mean, there's just 4 guys with 40 other guys trying to stop 40 other guys. It was something else. But I mean, the fact that you caught Trout grabbing Upton of the Mariners too, a former teammate of his, he grabbed him out of the fray, and Ohtani, they were trying to keep him out of there too. That was amazing. That was just amazing.
It was Ohtani's. I think it was. I don't want to be wrong, but I believe it was his translator that was keeping him back. And then another translator got suspended for the Angels. I believe.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah, I believe one of the names that got suspended was a translator, which is wild.
Manny Del Campo. So for 2 games, they're going to need something. Can you bring in a backup translator, or they're just going to have to use hand signals? I don't know.
I don't even know what that means, really. I guess. I don't know what that means. He can't be in the dugout. So that really stinks for that player. If they really rely on him, he's just going to be lost for 2 games.
And with Iglesias getting 2 games, do we know, did he get the 2 games for fighting or for throwing all the gum out on the field? Was that what it was? Was it a gum throwing situation?
I wonder. That was interesting to me because, like everyone else, I thought he was still mad at Jesse Winker and trying to antagonize them. But it was that footage by the Japanese YouTube channel where they had the shot of him getting told he was ejected, and that was his reaction, which I don't know how much better it makes him look, but I think somewhat better that he was mad at the umps and not throwing things on his own field to get the Mariners, because that was really confusing. I was like, what does this do? Why would this hurt the Mariners, you trashing your own field? But he was throwing it at the umpire's direction. So that was like a little while I was editing, and I was like, oh, okay, I think that makes sense. I don't think anyone else has figured that out yet.
There was rage about being told that he got ejected when he was playing Peacemaker, but attempting to for much of the fight. So I mean, this is unbelievable, And when it all comes down to it, Jomboy, I would like you, if I can make a request. Can you eventually do a breakdown on the bullpen guys running into a fray and seeing who's the fastest and who's the slowest? Can you figure that one out? Can you do that?
I can tell you who the fastest is. We can try and get some data, but David Robertson it was actually the first breakdown I ever made was from the 2017 Brawl, the Yankees Tigers, and I simply, for my own sake, I wanted to find out what everybody did. I was like, I want to follow just Gary Sanchez and see what he did. I want to follow just Jacoby Ellsbury and see what he did. And I got all the footage and I made it just for myself. And then I realized that, hey, people might be interested in what I just found here. Like David Robertson came out and sprinted from the bullpen. Everyone had seen that, but Sonny Gray came out and he instantly had a player in a body slam from the bullpen. And that's the first breakdown. First time I made a video where I'm talking over highlights and I say a breakdown, and I'm doing it at my 9-to-5 job and kind of whispering into the mic because I was at work. So they're still on YouTube. But
which job was it? Where were you working at the time in 2017?
I was a video editor and videographer at a event company, mostly weddings and corporate events and stuff like that.
So does somebody have a Jomboy breakdown of their wedding that they never knew actually existed somewhere? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of times I talked over it. I wonder, if I ever could have made money just giving them a full commentary of the dance floor.
Oh, man, otherwise it's working out for you. I mean, congratulations on the fact that people are now waiting for your review of something. They see something on a baseball diamond, and they're now like, okay, now they're demanding it of you, And you had to put out a video saying it's coming. Everybody back off.
That was a wild one. I was like, hey, this is taking a while. Just hang with me. And then I always want to make sure I can try to highlight something that is maybe went unnoticed or something. So the moment I saw Archie Bradley fall over the railing, that's when my eyes lit up, and I was like, okay, that's one thing that I can carry me into the next scene, because I don't think anyone's pointed that out yet.
That was one of the breakdown points, Christopher, is that Archie Bradley, he fell. As they were spilling out of the Angels dugout, he fell. Oh, my gosh. He just tripped and fell. That's a problem. He was the first Angel on the ground in that whole situation.
Yeah.
No doubt.
he got the worst of it up until that point.
Hey, before I let you go, the Yankees just keep winning. They have an insane number of comeback wins. They have obviously an MVP candidate in Judge. The one thing that gives you pause about this team, was it the way that they almost got swept by the Astros? I mean, what are your 2 cents on the team that you watch, I believe, the most, Jomboy?
I just think that good teams get better, and they're really good right now, and they're finding a lot of ways to win. Teams starting 5 rotation don't stay, from start to finish. So I think Cashman and the Yanks have to do a lot of prep for the what ifs, where there's been years past where they didn't make moves at the deadline. 2019 they were really good, and then they lost Dellin Betances and Domingo Germán right after the deadline ended, and that changed the outlook of the bullpen and the rotation. So I think that those lessons should be learned, and there's going to be injuries, and there's going to be people that don't have good second halves, and there's no waiver wire now on the deadline. So we got to, they got to make as much replacements and reinforcements as they can, because not everything's going to be this easy the whole way.
And so who's the second best team? Is it the Mets? Who else is up there in your estimation as we're entering July, Jomboy?
In the AL, I think it's the Astros for sure. I think that they don't make that many mistakes. They play good in every facet of the ball. Their hitting will be better at times. I think they're going to get better. But in the NL, I'm not sure. The Padres continue to impress me. Their starting pitching is so good, and that's the thing that will win you games, especially in the postseason. You have to have starters that can eat innings and go deep, and they're getting that really well. And then, if the Yankees have to play the Blue Jays or the Red Sox in a 5-game series, I still think there's just a little fear factor of it's a 5-game series and those teams are good. I think the Yankees are better, but just as playoff jitters of anything can happen.
Well, the Yankees have a 4-game set in Fenway Park coming up next week, so we'll see how that one all plays out. Jomboy, thanks for the time, and congrats on that monster vid. Everyone should seek it out on the Jomboy Media YouTube page. Thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate it, as always.
Thank you very much, man.
You got it. At Jomboy _ on Twitter. A complete must follow at Jomboy Media on Instagram. Jomboy right here on The Rich Eisen Show.